Hi, and welcome to Unleashing the Power of Women Voices event. I'm so excited to have you all here for our first of this season event. And if this is the first time you're joining this event, you're in for an absolute treat because today we have an amazing lineup of amazing speakers from all around the world who are going to be sharing their stories about overcoming different things in life, about pursuing success, what success means to them. I always say with these events, you kind of don't know what to expect because there's always something evolves as a theme. So I'm very, very excited. But before we kick off, what I want to do is say hello to my lovely co-host, Abigail. Hi, welcome.
Hello,
Hello.
thank you so much, Ramonda. I am so excited. This is the first showcase of our 2026 Summit Speakers, and it's very, very exciting to get the ball rolling and share all these wonderful women and speakers with our audience. Thank you for inviting me again to co-host.
Well, this would be, I think, our third year running.
Mm-hmm.
Third year. So it's been amazing. And just for our audience who may have never joined these events, we host the Unleashing of the Women, the Power of Women Voices event every third Thursday of the year. And our goal and mission is to really inspire our audience, connect our audience to our amazing speakers who have been already chosen and not yet announced, but they will be soon announced. And you'll get to sneak peek today who they are for the Women Thrive Summit that happens every year in March. So I'm very excited that you're all here to meet our speakers and hear a little bit about their stories, their businesses, and their missions. Just what I want to do is invite you all to connect in the comments. So if you have not told us where you're joining us from, let us know in the comments below. What do you think, Abigail, can people expect in today's showcase?
I think that people will expect to be inspired, surprised, educated, and really understand that when we come together in this way and we share what we're really passionate about, we start to realize that actually we're very, very similar to one another. Everyone's stories, whenever I hear someone's stories, I can really, really resonate with it. Even if it's not exactly the same story as mine, it's not exactly the same background as mine, there is always something in a story that I can be like, yeah, I felt like that before, or I would like to do that, or I feel this way. So I think really overall, you can expect to hear today some really inspirational stories as well from our speakers.
Yeah, I definitely agree. And, this community has been built on the power of connections and networking. And women like yourselves, whether you're speaking here or whether you're tuning in from different parts of the world, this is what creates a community. This is what makes these events be what they are. And we've been doing this since 2017, running events virtually since 2020. And over the years, we've connected thousands of women, inspired and empowered women to be more successful in business. So whether you're in business or whether you're looking for some inspiration for your personal growth and want to evolve in different areas, this is going to be an incredible opportunity for you to meet some women who have already started or have already paved their way in different areas of business and life and coaching. And what I want to do is I want to invite you all to connect with the people who you feel inspired by. So if there is someone who you feel like, wow, her story, I could really resonate, or her voice or her message has really touched me, I encourage you to, one, send them a message, and two, to connect with them, just start that conversation. So it's going to be a great event packed with amazing women. We've got a great lineup, and I don't want to hold up anything. And I want to invite my co-host, Abigail, to introduce our first speaker.
Oh my goodness, I feel so honored to do this because this is our very first speaker of our very first showcase of the 2026 summit and what an amazing summit it's going to be. So I would love to welcome onto the stage Dania S. Diaz, who is a fierce and fearless advocate for women who have felt trapped in lives that don't feel like their own. Known as the power shifter, Dania has been featured on nearly 300 podcasts worldwide and speaks on stages and in summits to show women that they have the power to change their lives by changing their minds. Dania, welcome.
Well, thank you for having me. I'm so excited to be heading this up. This is such an honor.
Oh, it's just fantastic. I love that you raised your hand. You were like, I'm going to go, let's do it. Like, there's the space, so I'm going to claim it. And how amazing is that? So, Dania, we are really, really looking forward to hearing you speak. Please take it away.
Thank you so much. So, Oprah Winfrey once said, you become what you believe. But what if what you believe are the words others told you about who you are? Words that imprisoned you in an identity that you never thought you could escape. I was about 4 years old when I first experienced the power of words. I was in the kitchen of my mother's third-floor apartment in Chicago when I overheard her talking to a neighbor on the back porch. She was an accident, a mistake, I heard my mother say in reference to me. Although I didn't understand what she meant, I did feel the shame that was held in her hushed tone. So I retreated to the safety of my dimly lit bedroom and sought comfort in the blanket on the floor near the small pile of toys that were the only contents of the room. I'd have preferred to curl up in my bed and cry, but there was no bed there. I only had a bed at my great-grandma's apartment where I lived more of the time than with my mother. As I scanned that room, I realized there was nothing at my mother's really for me except my mother, who was always busy, working, cleaning, socializing, or entertaining her boyfriend's 2 sons who didn't like me any more than the boyfriend did. It's like I didn't belong there at all, which reiterated that verbiage that I was indeed an accident and a mistake, and more so one that my mother wasn't willing to acknowledge and accept. But then a couple of years later, my mother moved us in with her newest boyfriend. And this one didn't like me either, but he did have a house and a car and everything my other mother ever wanted. And I even had a bed there. So I was hopeful that I could finally have some semblance of a normal life and maybe even a dad. But then the man's ex-wife reclaimed some of her furniture, including the bed I slept in, after which the man's friendly facade disappeared as well. He would wave his pointy finger in my face and tell me I would never be part of the family he was creating with my mother, and that he shouldn't have to pay for another man's child to be fed and clothed anyway. He said my mother didn't love me and that the toast I ate for breakfast at 6 years old would make my hips spread like a middle-aged woman's, and then no one else would love me either. That was better than the physical abuse that followed, but those purplish fingerprints and other bruises that he inflicted on me didn't remain as long as those words, nor as long as the pain of my mother negating my claims of abuse with accusations that I was too sensitive and that I was too emotional, or maybe I was just lying to get attention. She even went so far as to tell me he wouldn't treat you so badly if he didn't care so much about you. My mother married that man when I was 7 years old. But the real tragedy is how my mother stood by silently, watching me internalize every single harmful word and action until I finally left at 18. I thought I was finally free. I swore no one would ever mistreat me again. And then I met my first husband. Although I was put off by his misplaced sense of entitlement because it reminded me so much of my stepfather's, I was so desperate for any crumb of affection and attention that I succumbed to this life of control and servitude, tolerating and even excusing the various abuses to bad moods and bad days, just like my mother had. 24 years later, I looked in the mirror at a reflection of what I'd become. My skin had a grayish pallor. The light in my eyes had dimmed, and at 93 skeletal pounds, I had weakened to the point that I could barely tear toilet paper from the roll most mornings. And this wasn't just depression, nor my lifelong eating disorder. It was those 2 random words my mother had spoken over me when I was a little girl. Those 2 words had trapped me in this endless cycle of suffering for over 40 years because I believed those words instead of loving myself enough not to. But if someone else's words could distort my sense of worth and shape what I believed I deserved, then theoretically, different words could redefine my reality, right? So I stopped perpetuating this lie that I was an accident and a mistake and began speaking my truth over my life instead. That I was meant to be in this world and that I was just as worthy of love and acceptance as anyone else, and that no one gets to decide who I am and how my life should go except for me. And once I took my power back, my friends, everything changed. I am now living a life I never dreamed I could have. But most importantly, I am physically and mentally healthier because I chose to change my life for the better. And you can too. My name is Dana S. Diaz, the Power Shifter. I show women how to redefine themselves in accordance with who they really are and what they truly want, so they can break free from lives they're just living and live lives they truly love. So if you want to rewrite your story like I did, I invite you to visit my website, danasdiaz.com, where you can read an excerpt from my first book and click the links to follow me on socials. And remember, choose your words wisely, because the words we choose create the lives we lead. Thank you.
Dania, thank you so much for sharing your story so eloquently and so vulnerably. What I love about you is your choice of words, actually, that you can choose a different life for yourself. And when you know that you have that choice, it's so empowering. What do you think that took inside of you to make that choice for yourself?
Well, it took me getting sick. And I think it's interesting how we never know what that deal breaker is in life. We think that if this happens, then I'll do this. If that happens, but we really don't know until we're faced with that decision. And it is not just empowering, but I think that we all forget that we have that power inside ourselves. We get to dictate how our lives go. But if we give that power away to others, we're doing ourselves such a disservice. And that shows up in our bodies as disease and as emotional distress in our minds. And nobody wants to live that way, nor should they.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree. And what a way to kickstart this showcase. Thank you so much, Dania, for sharing everything. I know that you mentioned your website there. Where can people connect with you on social media? Because I know you're quite the thing on Instagram.
I try Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, LinkedIn. I think I'm on X, but I don't do much with it. But yes, go to the website. Like I said, click some links there, but you can find me anywhere as Dana S. Diaz.
Thank you so much, Dana. Thank you for being our first speaker. And I look forward to many, many talks and shares to come. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, have we got the impression of what this summit is going to be like in March of next year with these wonderful speakers? I think that Dania there has set the tone for things to come. Please make sure that you give her a follow. And if you feel inspired by her story, then please reach out to her and let her know in the comments. I am very excited now to move on to our next speaker. Her name is Petra Broombauer, and I hope that I've done your surname service there, Petra. She is an award-winning mind-body coach, founder of the Journey wellbeing platform with the most beautiful logo. Every time I see your logo, I'm like, there it is, that's the Journey. Host of the globally ranked Journey podcast and author of the Functional Freeze Formula. With a master's in psychology and a doctoral student in mind-body medicine, Petra is committed to advancing holistic approaches to health and healing. Welcome, Petra. It's so great to see you here.
Hi, Abigail. Thanks so much for having me. And thank you, Dana, for sharing your story as well. What a start to the speaker showcase. So I am so grateful to be here today. And thank you, Abigail, and thank you, Ray.
You're welcome. Well, I know that you also have quite the story as well, so I'm really looking forward to your talk today. Please take the stage.
Oh, thank you. I'll ask you, have you ever felt stressed out? And now imagine this. You're 39 years old, sitting in a wheelchair, holding a box of lidocaine patches, wondering, how did I get here? And the simple answer is stress. Hi, everyone. I'm Petra Brunbauer, founder of The Journey and creator of the Functional Freeze formula. And I help women understand and recover from a devastating nervous system response to chronic stress called functional freeze. But everything that led me to that exact moment in the wheelchair had actually started decades earlier. A move across continents had left me struggling with mental health challenges since I was a teenager, and anxiety and depression became my daily normal. I spent years in therapy, not really getting any better, and finally came to believe that if I simply pushed through and kept functioning, eventually things would be okay. Then came my first corporate burnout. And you know what I did? I worked longer hours, took on more projects, and made sure my calendar was filled to exhaustion so I wouldn't have to stop and face what was going on inside of me. I recovered just enough to keep pushing forward, believing that resilience meant never slowing down. When I faced my second burnout, things got even worse. I went through chronic exhaustion and brain fog, and I developed some very strange physical symptoms, like a temporarily paralyzed leg. But if you think I listened, I did not. I still pushed on. And this time to escape, I made another move across the Atlantic and started over in France. By this time, I had spent more than half my life disconnected, overwhelmed, anxious, depressed, numb, and pushing down an internal dumpster fire while smiling on the outside. Then came a period of profound loss and grief. In a single year, several people close to me passed away, pulling the rug out from under my feet. I would have just kept going again, but this time it was different. I started asking myself if this was all there was to life, because I actually felt I couldn't and didn't want to continue. I was tired. I didn't even feel like there was anything left of me. And this is when the first thoughts of creating a happy place for people started floating through my head. These were the beginnings of The Journey, a virtual well-being platform I eventually created because I didn't want anyone to spend their lives like I had done. Back to the wheelchair. I worked on The Journey and we started offering a podcast and burnout programs. But in 2020, all of that stress stored in my mind and body finally caught up with me. I broke my foot, and instead of recovering after 6 weeks, I developed complex regional pain syndrome and ended up in a wheelchair. And even with all my training and all my certifications, I was stumped. But I figured it out. And what I discovered along the way is what I do now. I found a name for everything I had experienced in my life and even wrote a book about it. I know that so many women are in functional freeze without knowing it and without knowing that we can recover. And I want to change that. So today, I invite you to ask yourself, what is it costing you each day to stay exhausted, overwhelmed, in pain, battling brain fog, feeling guilty for not being present with your family, and silently falling apart while smiling on the outside.
Wow, Petra, welcome. And what a story you have to share. And I think I just took a moment to pause after you finished because I think some people might be feeling this right now, that maybe they need to hit a pause button on their life to reflect. And just the fact that you shared a story of figuring out and going on this journey, it's so, so powerful. And I hope that it is going to inspire and empower other women who might be looking for answers and they just can't find it at this moment in time. Petra, if people are feeling really called to connect with you, where will they find you?
We have a really simple way where everything is in one place, and it's just bio dot the journey, and the journey is spelled JORNI.com. bio.thejourney.com. You'll find everything there, everything we offer, everything I do, the podcast, the book, everything is all in one place. So trying to make it easy, especially for people who are in functional freeze, so they don't have to remember a whole bunch of things.
Yeah, for sure. And which social media platform do you like to be most present in?
We're very active on Instagram, so that would be a really good place to connect with us. And again, the handle is just at the journey. Keep it really simple. Everything's the same. We post on there a lot of inspirational things around functional freeze, but you'll also find little things about our podcast episodes, our blog. So there's a lot of information to dive into if you're interested about this topic. If you want to learn more, that's a good place to go and find us.
And congratulations, you're going to be speaking at the Women Thrive Summit in March. How does that feel?
Oh, thank you so much. I am beyond excited. And actually, I was really nervous to speak today, but I love it. As I was starting to speak, I just felt so aligned. And I was thinking of the people I've worked with, the women I've worked with, and how we have to speak about these things more. So thank you for providing this platform and the amazing summit next year. And I so very much look forward to it.
I'm so excited for people to meet you. And I think there's going to be a lot of people who are going to be not just inspired, but perhaps their lives could start transforming the way yours did. And I can't wait to hear more about your story of the overcoming and also the work that you do. So I know we'll get to hear from you in the next few months and of course on the Women Thrive Summit. Petra, thank you so much for being so brave and taking the stage today on our first showcase.
Thank you, Ray. And I very much look forward to all the other speakers that are coming on after me. Can't wait to hear their stories as well.
Thank you, Petra. Great to see you. This was Petra. And again, if you feel inspired, motivated, do make sure you connect with our speakers because they're here to support you. They're here to serve you. And, if you have any questions, that's a great way to connect with them through social media and their websites. Now, my next lovely speaker, very, very excited to invite her to speak on the showcase. Just a few months ago, Dr. Meg Gibson was at the forefront of attendance of the Women Thrive Summit. And so she was inspired by all the stories, by all the women showing up to our platform. And she decided it is her time to be in the spotlight. Now I'm super excited to invite Dr. Meg Gibson. Hi, welcome.
Thank you, Ramonda. How are you?
I am great seeing you, and I love the bright colors. It's truly summer is here.
I am full of brightness today, and I'm excited.
Yes, me too. I'm thrilled to have Dr. Meg here with us today. And she is a personal branding strategist, leadership development expert, and transformational speaker with over 25 years of experience helping professional women step into their full visibility and power. She's the founder and CEO of True Choices Consulting, LLC, where she empowers mid to senior level leaders to align their voice, values, and vision to create bold, authentic brands that drives influence and impact. Dr. Meg, I'd love to stay here and chat to you, but the spotlight is yours. So I will take myself on the backstage and I can't wait to hear what you got to share.
All right. So let's talk about something many professional women experience but rarely talk about. No, it's not the struggle to climb the ladder, but the sting of being pushed off it by other women at that. In the past year alone, I've spoken to probably over 75 women, accomplished, driven, brilliant, and tired. Tired of navigating spaces where competition is disguised as collaboration, where insecurity hides behind passive aggression, where your light is enough to make someone else try to dim it. I've been in rooms where my mere presence, before I ever said a word, was enough to make someone feel uncomfortable. Not because I was unkind, not because I was unqualified, but because I refused to make myself small. I've seen women smile in my face while plotting to undercut my influence behind closed doors. I've had colleagues question the validity of my academic degree while holding nothing more than a high school diploma. I've watched leaders avoid saying my name in rooms I helped build because it carried too much weight. Let me be clear, this is not about ego. This is about identity. This is what it looks like to be a Black woman in leadership who knows exactly who she is and dares to show up fully. My name is Dr. Meg Gibson. A strategist, I'm intentional with my actions, and I am a truth teller. I help high performing women, professionals, and organizations uncover their authentic power through leadership development, transformational experiences, and personal branding. I've spent my career choosing integrity over approval and purpose over politics. And I've earned every seat I sit in. What have I learned? My voice wasn't disruptive, it was just disruptive to their comfort. Because when you're built yourself through pain, perseverance, and purpose, you don't just take up space, you own it. And that scares people who haven't done their work. But here's the truth, I will no longer shrink myself so others feel safe, and no, nor should you. I will no longer silence myself to be palatable, nor should you. And I will no longer question my brilliance to soothe someone else's insecurity, and nor should you. There's actually room for all of us, but not all of us are willing to do the soul work required to sit in a room and not compete, compare, or sabotage. And that's a lot of work to do. So to the women who've experienced this in silence, I see you. And to the women brave enough to rise without stepping on others, I stand with you. My hope is that we start building spaces where brilliance isn't intimidating, it's welcomed. Where truth isn't silenced, it's respected. Where authenticity isn't punished, it's celebrated. Because legacy is not built by playing small, it's built by standing tall in truth, in courage, and in your God given brilliance. I'll continue to show up as I am, degree in hand, truth in heart, and legacy in motion, because there's too much to stake to keep playing small. So I'm inviting you. Are you ready Just stop playing small and walk in your brilliance. Thank you.
Dr. Meg, so powerful, beautiful message. And honestly, when I started to hear your story, there is just no way people could treat you badly. The first time I saw you on screen, the positivity, the light, I could just feel it across the screen before I even knew you. And this is mind blowing that people could actually, without knowing, it says treat you this way. It says so much more about them than you. And I think today's leadership really requires leaders who really truly choose integrity, choose impact over, as you said, office politics and compromising. And you are a true leader that unfortunately those spaces have truly missed out on.
Yes. Yes. It's been an interesting ride for 38 years. I've seen it not only with myself, but how it's happened to other women. And I think we spoke about it on one of the calls we had that we're much stronger together than we are separately. And if we could just begin to understand the power of women that we have together, how much further that we can go.
Yeah. What's your vision for the future for women in leadership?
Oh my goodness, I wish that glass ceiling no longer existed. I
Yeah.
wish that those that are climbing each rung on the ladder, that they would look behind and truly take someone along. And every step that you go higher, you don't feel threatened. As you sit in a position of where you are, that you understand that someone just as brilliant as you can come along and you are okay with that. You don't feel threatened by that. You are just happy that you have someone on your team just like that, and they may not want that position. Or you're
Mhm.
even okay with the fact that they're okay with not having a title because a title
Mhm.
does not make you a leader.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think there's a huge mindset shift, isn't it?
Yes.
To do collaboration over competition and support each other because, in some environments, people fighting for their own bit of space or glory. But in other environments, people work together to build something. And those environments where people working together to build something amazing go much, much further. So I'm very, very excited and proud to have you part of the Women Thrive Speaker Summit in March and also part of the community, and just have you here to support other women who perhaps need this guidance and support and leadership.
I'm excited to be here. And like you said, when I met in March at the summit this year, it just touched me so much. I was zoned in and I was there every single day, all day. Um, it was life changing in that moment for me. It came along in my life at the right time.
Yeah. And so I hope that your presence and your message will come just at the right time, just for the right people who need you. How do people connect with you?
Uh, Best way on social media would be LinkedIn. Look for Meg Gibson and my bright shining face. And you can reach me on my website as well, www.maketruechoices.com.
Maketruechoices.com. That's amazing. Dr. Meg, I wish we had more time, but I have to close the out for today. But it's definitely not the last time we're seeing you on these showcases and inside our community. So very, very excited to have you here. Thank you for being here and sharing your voice and your message with our audience.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. This was Dr. Meg Gibson. And like I said, when I first met her on the Women Thrive at our event, I was just so taken aback by her presence and just positivity. And these are the kind of women that you will get to meet at the Women Thrive Summit. And as you heard, it may just be a life-changing event. Now, I know we got to wait till March, but in the meantime, here we are for the showcase. Okay, I want to invite my co host to invite our next speaker. Let's go.
Okay, I am very excited to introduce you to our next speaker. Her name is Brenda Huckel. She is a leading voice in women's empowerment and spiritual transformation. After 30 years in HR, organizational development, and coaching, she left her executive career to help women heal from limiting beliefs, unhealed trauma, and societal conditioning. Brenda's mission is clear: to awaken a new paradigm of conscious, courageous living where women are fiercely free and deeply fulfilled. And Brenda, there are some celebrations in order because you've just published your book. We're really excited to see what you were up to in the world. Welcome. Oh, Brenda, you're muted. You just need to unmute yourself.
There we go.
Hi, welcome, Brenda.
Thank you. It's great to be here.
Oh, it's so great to have you on our stage and to share your wisdom with our audience. Please take it away.
Oh, thank you. I'd like to start today with a question for our listeners. And the question is, have you ever looked in a mirror and didn't recognize the person staring back at you? And you wonder, what happened? I'm so unhappy. I don't even know who I am anymore. But on the outside, everyone thinks you've got it together because you're serving multiple roles masterfully. But on the inside, you may feel broken, feel lost. What if I told you you're not broken? You're living under years of expectations and conditionings and inherited beliefs. In my profession, I have witnessed thousands of women face this reality, including myself. And when I was in my mid-50s, I realized that I was living under a belief system that dictated who I needed to be, what I needed to wear, what job I needed to have, how much money I needed to make to feel valued, to be validated. But that climbing that corporate ladder was killing me. And then one day, this woman walked into my office. She was a colleague of mine, a beautiful woman, very strong, always very well composed. And she shut the door and she burst into tears. And she says, Brenda, I can't do this anymore. I can't be everything to everyone anymore. I feel like I'm losing my mind. And in that moment, I realized she wasn't just talking about her life. She was talking about mine too. And I had to really think about that because I wasn't living with and wasn't in line with my true purpose. So a week later, at age 55, I resigned from my executive position. I left a lot of money on the table. And my husband was retired. He's living on a Social Security check. But that day, when I walked away from my job, I returned to myself. Hi, I'm Brenda Huckel. I'm the author of Courageously Authentic. I'm a speaker and I'm a women's empowerment advocate. And after around 35 years of human resources, organizational development, and coaching, I had to leave corporate world because I had to live and be aligned with my true purpose. And my purpose is to work with women across the globe and help them return to who they were before the world told them who they had to be. There's over 8 billion people in this world, but we're all born with a purpose. The world's just waiting for you to say, I'm ready. And if this resonates with you, I invite you to check out my website. It's brendahuckel.com. I have a ton of free resources out there, but I also give away a free chapter of my book. And the chapter I give away is Who Owns Your Belief System? Because that's really where it begins. And if you can take a look at what beliefs you're living by that makes you feel the way you feel, that makes you the decision that you're making, and you recognize where those beliefs originated and from whom, and this isn't about blame or shame, it's about awareness, then you have a choice. You could choose again. You can change those beliefs. You can rewrite your story. And that's what I help women do, is rewrite their story. Because you do have a purpose. And then as soon as you step into your power and you find your voice, there's no going back. Because the world needs to hear your story. Your story may be just what one person needs, that little bit of inspiration and hope to change their life. So thank you.
Brenda, thank you so much
You're welcome.
for sharing your story so eloquently. this, what you're explaining there about, you know, how good we can be so often as women to look like we're like spinning all the plates and everything's in place and we're totally on the ball with everything. It's like this professional facade, especially in corporate. And then just behind the scenes, we're just about clinging on for dear life. I'm sure that so many of our viewers that are watching this today, either live or on the replay, will totally relate to that. What did it take for you to be able to stand for yourself and leave corporate? Because I'm sure that everyone has a different story. I mean, it took me 10 years to leave because it was terrifying. Like, what would you say to someone that is really feeling like that and wants to take that next step and really choose their life purpose over something that they think that they should be doing to be successful or to live?
They have to give themselves permission, and they have to trust that they'll be provided for. I mean, I walked away and leaving a lot of money on the table with only my husband's Social Security check. But if you follow your true purpose, what you're aligned to do, what you came into this world to do, everything will flow. And that's when you find your happiness. We're conditioned to believe that exhaustion equates to productivity. And self-sacrifice, it means that it shows how much we love our family. Those are illusions. So we're conditioned to believe that we're here to make sure and take care of everybody else's needs, and ours are last. So when you make that decision to really follow what's going to make you happy, follow your purpose, everything shifts. There's no turning back, because you're going to be that person you're stepping into is not the same person. And when you find your happiness, everything flows, everything follows.
It's courage, doesn't it? Because it's like you say, you're going against the grain. We are so deeply conditioned to be fully immersed in hustle culture that hard work equals success. And, you know, it's almost like this hard work and burnout is like a badge of honor. You know, well, I'm doing the, you know, I'm just working hard. And if it's not working, I'm just going to work even harder. So it takes a lot of courage, doesn't it, to do that? Oh, Brenda, you're muted. There we go. Yeah, you're muted.
It's one of the reasons why I named my book Courageously Authentic, because for you to be your true authentic self, it takes courage, and it takes trust, and it takes surrender. You have to surrender the ego. You have to surrender the fear. And I'm not saying it's easy, but it's the best thing and the most rewarding thing you can give yourself, because everyone deserves to be happy, and they're here for a purpose. There's over 8 billion people in this world, but there's only one of you. And God didn't make a mistake, right? So he made you, and you're here for a reason. The world's just waiting for you to say, yes, I'm ready. And step into your power.
Yeah, always works. Everyone deserves to be happy. Brenda, congratulations on your book. Congratulations for all the wonderful experiences and achievements that have come from that in a really short period of time. And congratulations on being a speaker on the summit.
Yeah, I'm very excited about that.
We're so excited to have you. Where's the best place for people to find you, Brenda, if they want to connect with you and find out more about your work?
They can check my website out. It's brendahugo.com. Very simple. And I'm on all social media platforms, but I use LinkedIn is the best one, Pinterest, Instagram, Facebook, whatever. I'm on all of them.
Great. Thank you, Brenda. Thank you so much for coming on and sharing your wisdom and your story. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, so that was Brenda Huckel, who has got a very inspirational story. As I said, she's just released her book. I suggest that you go and check that out, and you follow her on social media, go and look at her website, find out about her work. All of our speakers are up to big things. Yes, they're speaking on our stage, and some of them are pushing themselves out their comfort zone to do that. But actually, they were all amazing experts in their own right. And this is a wonderful community for you to connect with, to be inspired by. That the message of Women Thrive is all about collaboration over competition. and we love to bring inspirational women together. So I hope that you're enjoying our talks today. Please show some love in the comments and share your questions, your aha moments. You know, sometimes it takes a lot to come on stage and to share your story from a vulnerable place, and even just to put yourself out there and be visible. And your acknowledgement and your energy means so much to the speakers, because the energy that we get from you is the energy that we'll be able to reflect back out to you. So we would love to see your aha moments in the comments. Okay, so who is ready for our next speaker? I am very, very excited to invite her onto the stage. I remember our call together we had when we were discussing the possibility of her coming and speaking on the stage. I felt so inspired by her story and her journey, and also her passion and her reason for doing what she does, and I'm sure she's going to share that with you today. So I would love to invite Shreya Korea onto the stage. Shreya is an acclaimed brand strategist and coach. She's spent the last 15 plus years proving you don't have to follow the rules to make an impact, just the guts to rebrand your life. She is the founder of SHK Consulting. It's an award-winning studio known for taking brands and people from near to magnetic. She's all about bold ideas and premium experiences. Shreya, welcome to the stage.
Thank you, Abigail, and thank you for your kind words. I'm so excited to share this journey with you. I feel like you're such an inspiration for me and so many of the other women on this. So thank you so much for that.
Thank you, Shreya. That's so kind of you. And I'm so looking forward to listening to your talk. Please take it away.
Thank you. And good evening or good morning, everybody, from wherever you are watching this. And I hope that you feel as inspired as all of us do. But let me begin by asking, have you ever felt like you're the CEO of your own life, but you're stuck following someone else's manual? That was me, an acclaimed branding expert, admired for forging my own path, but in reality, living by someone else's rulebook. I was a fraud in my own life. I've always been the one who asks, does it have to be this way? Born in Kenya to great-grandparents who left their homeland guided only by conviction. Raised on 3 continents, I've always strived to keep their spirit of courage. But as a young woman, I shrank to fit the mold of an old boys club until I said, never again. I built an award-winning brand studio with the mission of creating space for other women to feel empowered. And in this quest for passion, I took spin and became a spin coach. From the outside, it all looked inspiring. But behind the scenes, my pursuit of success became torture. For 20 years, I ran my life like an unforgiving military drill sergeant. Even in a cast boot, I kept punishing myself, ignoring every sign to slow down. The truth is, I believed everyone was judging me. To the world, I was already past my sell-by marriage date. I was convinced I had to be twice as successful to prove I wasn't a failure at business too. And this cyclone of self-hate kept gathering momentum until inevitably I crashed. Lying on my bathroom floor mid-panic attack, I was paralyzed with the weight of never being enough. In that raw moment, I realized this torture of discipline had hit a wall. Maybe it got me this far, but it was not going to help me thrive. This wasn't success, nor freedom, or even advocacy. I wouldn't want anyone to treat themselves this way. My life clearly needed a radical shift. I was done listening to opinions. I didn't want more rules. What I really craved was a roadmap to my own inner voice. So I went back to the drawing board and pulled on the one thing I knew best, brand strategy, and decided my life needed a rebrand. Rule number 1, in good branding, the customer is always a hero. It's about their desires. Yet here I was, treating myself like a workhorse. And even as I mentored bright, hopeful girls, encouraging them to celebrate their wins and believe in their worth, I couldn't see my own. This wasn't the example I wanted to lead by. It was time to take my life and turn it into a hero, to align my behavior with my personal beliefs. Every action and thought needed to be intentional, not mechanical. And whilst this felt unnerving, I found myself questioning long held habits that clearly added no meaningful value to my life. Here's what I know: if you want a life that's genuinely yours, you must be brave enough to let go of being a slave to someone else's idea of perfection. Instead, have faith that your own voice will guide you to the version of success truly worthy of you. Rule number 2: a great brand feels trusted and safe. My brand was failing me. I needed one that could uplift. So I took to my beloved spin bike with a new goal, not to perform, but to rediscover joy. I ditched the obsession to curate rides for social media validation and replaced it with finding a rhythm that suited my beat. Over time, a shift came, a quiet resonance and reassurance I hadn't felt in years. If you give yourself space to listen to the silence between your thoughts, your voice will show you that in life, some days you sprint, some days you climb, and on others, you just flow. You have the right to honor each of these cycles for what they are and what they can bring about in you. Rule number 3: brands and people don't win by being flawless, but by evolving and leading by heart. By choosing to be vulnerable, I moved past seeing life as a race to be won and started valuing progress for what it meant to my journey. People may judge you for throwing out the rule book, but listening to them won't get you to your summit. Your voice is the best GPS you'll ever have. If you trust it, it will never lead you astray. And this slow, intentional work to rebrand didn't just change my life, it transformed my work. Now, I don't just help brands and people move beyond the surface. I have the bandwidth to ask deeper questions and help them forge a better part. Here's the thing: you already have what it takes to rebrand your life. You just need the right tools to bring it together. That's why my She Thrives program exists, to amplify your voice and fuel your purpose. Don't let someone else's outdated manual hold you back. You can discover more at my Instagram or LinkedIn at Shrey Karya. Thank you.
Shreya, thank you so much for sharing your story. One of the words that I wrote down when you were speaking was resilience. What I love about your story is that it feels to me like you are bringing your parents' legacy with you, or your, not just your parents, like your grandparents, your family lineage, these leaps of faith that we take when, you know, you were like, you've got no idea what's at the other end, but you just have to have that faith and conviction that everything's going to be okay, trust it, and then have this resilience. Like, what does it take for you? Like, how do you keep that resilience, keep that faith, keep that real trust in yourself that everything's going to be okay?
Oh, I have to tell you, honestly, it's really hard because initially I thought resilience meant just getting stuck in and powering through and wearing that badge of honor, you know, like you said before, wearing pain like a badge of honor. But what I realized is that just means that you become a slave to giving people permission to treat you however they want. And what I realized was I had to go inside myself and ask myself, what does strength mean for me? What does strength look like for the Shreya 5 years from now, 10 years from now? How does she want to show up as? And I started visualizing what that would look like. And for me, the visual that kept coming up was that I was standing on the edge of a cliff. And I know this might sound really morbid, but there was a voice that kept getting louder and louder in me that said, just jump, because if you jump, you will fly. And I think if we can trust ourselves enough to formulate that image and that voice and for what it means to each of us individually, I fully believe each of us will fly with strengths we never even knew we had.
Trey, it's such a wonderful message. Thank you. I find, this whole journey in life extremely fascinating and enjoyable, but then you get those moments of terror, right? Where it's like, I'm just going to trust everything's going to, honestly, it's like, it's always worked out. It's like, it's always worked out well before and it's going to work out again. But it can feel like you are on the edge of a cliff. I just love the way that you've explained that. Just jump, just do it.
Just hold on for dear life and jump.
Thank you so much for sharing your inspiration. And can I just say, you can tell that you're branding because I just love the way that you set dressed. Your background. I'm like, we've got so much to learn from you on this journey, Shreya. So wonderful. So I know that you mentioned there your website. Where do you hang out on socials? Where can people find you? Obviously at your website, where else?
So definitely both on Instagram and LinkedIn, whatever feels comfortable. Shrey Karia, it's my name. And in case you can't remember this, just go to the Women Thrive pages and you'll find me there. I'm following the pages across all platforms.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, Shrey. It's been so wonderful to have you not only on our showcase today, but also to have you as one of our wonderful Women Thrive speakers and representing Mama Africa, right? We're so excited. We truly are a global community, and very often obviously we have so many speakers from America and Australia and Europe and UK, which is so wonderful, and of course other countries, other continents, but actually for you where you're based, it's just so wonderful. I know that you zip around the world, so you are representing many different countries, so it's so wonderful to witness you really taking those leaps of faith. And thank you so much for being a speaker on next year's summit.
Thank you, Abby. I really appreciate you.
You're welcome. Thank you so much. Thank you. Have an amazing day. Can you believe it? We are halfway through. Oh my goodness, what amazing, inspirational speakers. And as we are at that halfway mark, speaking about an inspirational speaker, an inspirational lady, I would really love to invite back onto the stage Women Thrive Media founder and CEO, Ramunda Jan.
Hey, thank you so much. What an inspirational lineup of women. I was just sitting here like clapping my hands like, go girl.
They've been great, haven't they? I've just been writing things down. I'm like, that's such a good phrase. That's such a good expression. It really starting as we mean to go on. So proud of our speakers. Yeah, me too. It's been so much already wisdom and inspiration and really empowerment. And these women who walked their path and have been courageous, maybe at the time when they were making those decisions, didn't realize that they were paving the way for other women. And if you hear listening to them, I want you to take the moment to reach out to these women and just acknowledge just how inspirational they are and maybe how much they touched you today. Just imagine if you only get to meet 11 speakers out of the 50 speakers we get coming up for the Women Thrive Summit. Just imagine what the whole week would be like. I mean, I'm really excited. Me too. I can't wait. And we were talking about it the other day, weren't we? That it's just going to come round so quickly. It always does. But I'm so excited for these showcases. I think my main takeaways definitely so far today has been around that we can really decide how we want to be, how we want to show up in our leadership. the things that we want to stand for, that we can't let things get in the way, like other people's opinions of us, or if others are feeling uncomfortable, it's really important to take those pauses along the way, but really to take those leaps of faith, and we can create whatever we want to create. And these women that are speaking on our stage next year and on our showcase today are a testimony to that. It's so inspirational, Ray.
Yeah, me too. Me too. Speaking of lots of inspirational women, I've got something right in front of me, which is our magazine, and it's a cover with one of our speakers, well, more than one of our speakers, actually are authors from the Women Thrive book series. One of these women you will get to meet in just a few minutes. But I just want to give a shameless plug to our Women Thrive magazine and all the amazing women that get to contribute to our platform, our community. Yes, I got many of them too. Look who I got right here.
Oh, who are they? Oh my goodness, stunning models. We had so much fun on that shoot, didn't we?
I loved it. We really didn't plan our outfits, but it just so fitting. And I was 3 months postpartum, and I was like, I don't care about my belly. I don't care about
We're
many
matching
other
bellies.
things going on. And just owning your voice, owning who you truly are, showing up from your place of authenticity. That's the key. And I just want to celebrate all the women who contribute to our platform in so many different ways, whether they are a speaker, whether they become a sponsor, whether they join us on authorship journey or contribute to our magazine. Like I said, you're creating this community movement and opportunity for all of us to lock our hands to make an impact. And we've heard from women who overcome some incredible things. And I mean, Abigail, I just want to touch on your experience as well, because you share some of the similar experiences, one from the corporate, the burnout, and just your background, where you're coming from. So how important do you think it is for women to find women who have broken out of those systems and societies, and also to have a platform where we can all belong?
It's so important. I mean, I really resonated with what Brenda was talking about, actually. Brenda and I have a similar background in corporate, high-level leadership. And there is a certain image and a certain face that you need to put on to be successful within that environment. But so many women are just, really totally burning out. And my story is that I developed a heart condition. I was so stressed out. And it's not as if it was like a terrible organization to work for. I was very well looked after, very, very well looked after. But I was just working too hard and also doing work that wasn't really lighting me up because I wasn't living my purpose. Now, at the time, it just felt impossible to leave. I was like, I had a great salary, I had a nice lifestyle. So there was a part of me that didn't really want to leave, because I was like, I don't want to leave all of that behind. But also, how on earth would I leave corporate? It's the only way that I knew. And it's not just about leaving corporate, it's about leaving so Shreya was talking about like taking these big leaps of faith. Yeah. It's like moving from one paradigm to another. How on earth can I? So whether it's leaving corporate, or it's leaving a relationship, or it's leaving a country, or it's leaving one business and starting another, how on earth am I going to be able to do it? When you can surround yourself with women that have walked the talk, first of all, they can teach you strategies how to do it, so how to empower you. But secondly, you can start to see the commonalities between you and the other woman. And that kind of closes the gap, because it becomes a really reachable goal, because you're like, well, we're just the same. So if she can do it, I can do it as well. And that's why I love to hang around in communities like Women Thrive. Very, very proud to be part of Women Thrive, because we provide those communities to support one another. We have one another's backs, we cheer with each one other on, and we learn from one another, most importantly.
Yeah. And as they say, success leaves clues. So if you follow these women and kind of rub shoulders in the communities and interact and be surrounded by them, I'm sorry, but you can't help but get transformed. It's a byproduct.
No, exactly. You've got no choice.
Oh, Abigail, I wish we had more time to chit chat, but we have our next speaker right here waiting to come on. I just want to say thank you for being, I'm going to try and say this without getting really emotional, for being incredible support for me. And when we first met, I had no idea that we, some years down the line, would be here working together and have you as a complete partner and support in this beautiful journey that we have, hosting events with me, traveling the world, and just really empowering other women. And I love the way you share the vision and the purpose and the values alongside our, community, our organization, and the team, and the way you lead everyone within your own remit, which is really, really proud of you. And just want to say real big thank you, because especially right now, expecting my second babe and running the household, I would not be able to do this without you.
You are more than welcome, and it's an easy task because I love to share things that transform people's lives and businesses, and community is so important, and Women Thrive is such a wonderful community. And thank you, Ramonda, for taking leaps of faith within your business and your mission and your vision, because you've made all of this possible and just created a beautiful team around you, right, that supports you in this work and provides stages like this for women to share their stories.
Yeah, I'm really proud of what we've got and excited for what's to come. So thank you so much, Abigail, and I will introduce our next speaker onto our stage. See you in a minute. So our next speaker waiting in the wings, and I am super thrilled to invite her, not only because I got to know her over the last year quite well, because we got to do a really wonderful project, which I'm really proud of, but now this beautiful lady is joining us on the Women Thrive stage in 2026 for our summit. But I also got to hug her in real life, and that is wonderful. So my next lovely speaker is Dr. R.G. Nell Nichols, who is a visionary speaker, estate and legacy mentor, and creator of her legacy framework. With over 45 years of experience in education and leadership, R.G. empowers women 55 and plus to shape their spiritual, emotional, relational, and financial legacies. R.G., welcome. Great to see you here.
Thank you so much, Ray. Let me just say, I am humbled, and it is an honor to be on this stage with you two ladies, and then to hear all these other ladies and you talk about getting emotional. I'm sitting here wiping tears going, I'm not sure, I can run with these girls. They're big stuff, but I'm very glad to be here.
You well underestimating yourself, lady, because you're big stuff too. Well, first of all, I just want to say you're a published author, and when I got to know you through the book writing process, I'm just in awe of your story and the things that you've gone through. But the fact that you've never shared a story to anyone before, and the courage that it took for you to go back to your childhood to tell this story, to inspire others, you're amazing. And most recently, I want to say something that RJ has completely pivoted her long life career to do what she does today. So big kudos to you, about you.
Thank you.
Okay, I'm going to take myself off stage and I'll let you take over, and I'll be back right at the end to chit chat with you, RG.
Okay. So, what I figured out is that every woman out there hits a stage in her life, the brick wall as we call it, when we realize we're just surviving and we're not really living. And then we hit that brick wall, we're like, well, what exactly will my legacy be? Is it just going to be a piece of paper? No, it's not a piece of paper. It's a decision. It's a huge decision. You stop hiding, you start the healing process, and then you finally step up and take your seat at your table of life. It's that moment. So let me ask you, are you ready for your moment? Because it starts right now. Don't put it off any longer. So I have spent decades, as you heard, 45 years in education, working with people, checking off all those little boxes, getting the degrees, getting the promotions, playing the games, doing the things, moving up to being a department chair. I think at one time I was over 6 different departments, and I had 48 or 49 faculty that I was in charge of. And my office was right in the smack dab center, the hub of all this activity. And I quite often had stop-bys instead of drive-bys. They were always stopping by my office. Well, one night after all the noise was gone, the students had gone home, all the faculty had left. I think the janitor had even left. And I was sitting in my office all alone, nursing my little cup of hot tea. And I realized something very painful. I had completely lost my voice as a mother, my voice as a sister, my voice as a woman, but most of all, my voice as a dreamer. And when you read my chapter in the book, this will really click. But as a little Arkansas country girl, I would find myself laying in the red clover, looking up at the clouds and dreaming. And man, did I have some fabulous dreams. But all that was gone. It was just, there was no more dreaming, no more of that running barefoot through the clover. And I think that was the turning point. I know that was the turning point in my life. It wasn't a breakdown. It was a breakthrough. And I chose that day to stop living life on the merry-go-round and stop doing legacy the way the rest of the world expected it to happen. And I started living the way my soul was meant to be. My name is Dr. Argie Nell Nichols. Got to get that middle name in there. I've been a professor, department chair, a financial coach, a farm girl, which was the most fun, a founder of lots of different things, an author, but most of all, I am a fighter. I know what it's like to succeed in that outside professional world. I know what it's like to put on those red high heels and break that glass ceiling because I've done it. But while I was doing all that and being successful, I was carrying grief, regret, and a whole lot of guilt. So I've built my legacy from scratch. And it wasn't until I went back and started healing, and that was with writing my chapter in the book, where I found my true power. It came back to me. And now I help other women do the very same thing, financially, emotionally, spiritually. I am the founder of Her Life Legacy. This is a very unique transformational coaching experience for high-achieving women, which in this group, I think we're all high-achieving women. And we're ready to build our legacy that reflects our whole truth, not just a little piece of it. And it doesn't have a thing to do with our salary. or our jewelry. I also am the creator of something called Legacy Reclaimed. And this is a movement where I help women heal their bodies and reclaim their energy. In my chapter, you'll read that I was a very sick child. Didn't know what was wrong, been sick all my life. Finally, after, I don't know, several years, found a doctor that told me what was wrong. It was insulin resistance. And man, I don't know if you know about this, but it can cause lots of problems. So I work with women and men and anyone that has that situation, because that's part, your health is a big part of legacy. If you're not healthy, you don't care if you even have a legacy. So real legacy isn't just what you leave behind. It's how you live today, how you lead today, and how you love while you're still here on this earth. So if you're sitting here today and you feel like there's more to your life, well, there is. If your story feels unfinished, trust me, you've got another chapter to write. Don't wait till you're 70 years old like me to write that chapter. Do it now. Do the dang thing. So I want to invite you to slow down. Think about your legacy, because it's important. You might not think so today, but it is. I invite you to connect with me. I am on all the social media platforms. LinkedIn probably is the best one, but you'll find me out there. I go by my name, all three names, Argie Nell Nichols. Promise you can find me. I also have a website called herlifelegacy.com, where you can discover about all the pillars of legacy and all the free lectures and things that I put out there to help you live your best life and leave your best legacy. Remember, your legacy deserves to be lived. Live it today and then shout it from the rooftops. Get loud, ladies. Get loud, because you have a story to tell.
Congratulations, RJ. You have taken such a big, brave leap of faith in your life. And finally, as you say, decided to own your story, decided to go after everything maybe that you have dreamed of, hoped for, and maybe thought, not yet, not the time. And now you're here paving the way for others and being an example, and how amazing it is. And I just love seeing you across the different social media channels, because you showing up really fiercely, my lady.
Took me a long time to get there, Ray, but I'm coming. Get ready for it.
Yeah, and there's nothing holding you back, and it's such a massive difference when you start to drive your own ship in a way, become the captain of wherever you're sailing your boat to. And then you realize, my success doesn't need to depend on anybody else. It depends on me. And so we can go as far as we want to go. And you seem like you're going all out to support as many women as you can.
I'm pushing it to the limit. Absolutely. So don't be afraid to reach out. Yes, I have a Southern accent because I'm from Arkansas. But let me tell you, I am willing to help you no matter what your accent is or where you're from in the world.
Yeah.
I'm here to help.
Yeah, you're amazing. Like I said, when I got to spend some time with you in Miami for a book launch, you just have this wonderful, wonderful presence and such a caring heart to support others. And of course, goes without saying, so many years of experience and wisdom to share with the ladies.
Absolutely.
Thank you. Once again, if you haven't already had your copy of the Women Thrive Volume 4, this is where you will be able to connect and find RG and her story. But as RG said, she's got a great website as well as she's on social media channels. And I encourage you to do that with every speaker that you get to see on our stage today. Now, we are swiftly moving on to our next speaker because time waits for no one and we've got an incredible lineup. But if you're still here, I want you to do two things. One, leave us a comment. Let us know where you're joining from because as you see, women are from all around the world and we're yet to meet a few more ladies from our community. And two, share it with your social media followers because we want to spread this word as far as we can. So maybe there are other people who need to discover this event and all the women, all the voices on this platform. So make sure you share it. Now, if you've done that, put done in the comments below, and I am ready to bring on my next speaker. So our next speaker is Jennifer D. McCain, who is a certified life and leadership coach and the founder of Mission Inspire LLC. With over 2 decades of experience in nonprofit leadership and organizational development, she equips women and mission-driven professionals to lead with clarity and confidence. Her work centers on growth, resilience, and impactful values-based leadership. Great to see you, Jennifer. Please do unmute. How are you? Where are you joining
Hi,
from?
Ray. I'm good. I'm in Chicago, Illinois, in the U.S.
How are you feeling about today's showcase?
I am nervous, but it's going to be all right.
Of course, it's going to be all right. You're paving the way for women too, and you are an inspiration for others with a powerful story. So I'm going to hand over the mic to you, and we'll be back at the end to have a chit chat.
Thank you. So let me ask you a question. Have you ever felt like you had to get it perfect before you could get started? Yep, I have too. For years, I let perfectionism convince me that I wasn't ready to launch, to lead, to speak up, until I realized progress doesn't require perfection, it requires courage. I'm Jennifer D. McCain, social impact leader and founder of Mission Inspire. I've spent over 25 years in the nonprofit sector, facilitating, coaching, leading, and implementing initiatives that drive impact. But for a long time, I was great at helping others shine, even as I was avoiding stepping into the spotlight myself. Stepping onto the stage as the voice representing my own brand, that was a different level of visibility that I hadn't embraced. My first time doing that was at the Success Junkie Summit in November 2023. And here's the truth. I didn't even volunteer. I was told I'd be speaking by Sarita Love, my brand strategist, because she knew I would not raise my hand. She said, "You need this and you're ready." She saw something in me that I hadn't fully claimed yet, my own voice, my own power. And I'll be honest, as I was preparing that talk, I was doubting every sentence, rewriting it too many times, wondering if I had anything valuable to say. But I showed up. Nervous? Yes. Perfect? Not even close. But I was real and the experience was mine. And that moment cracked something open in me. Because the truth is, perfection wasn't the requirement. Courage was. Perfectionism is one of the sneakiest forms of procrastination. It keeps us editing, overthinking, hiding, and we call it preparation. And sometimes it's not even about perfectionism holding us back. It's comparison. I've caught myself measuring my journey against someone else's, wondering if I was behind or not doing enough. But one truth that keeps me grounded, my path is my path. Progress is personal. Your journey is valid, even if it looks different than someone else's. But here's the truth. Action builds confidence. Messy starts, they're still starts. You grow by doing, not by waiting. Every step forward, no matter how small or imperfect, is a victory over fear and doubt. I've realized that courage isn't about not feeling fear, it's about taking action despite it. And that's a mindset that we can all learn to cultivate it. In my work with women, this comes up again and again. We're capable, we're brilliant, but we're also scared of getting it wrong. What if instead of chasing perfection, we started celebrating progress? That's exactly what I'll be diving into at the Women Thrive Summit in March in my session, From Perfectionism to Progress: How to Stop Holding Yourself Back. I'll share tools and mindset shifts to help you move forward with clarity, confidence, and a whole lot more grace for yourself. You'll leave knowing how to start or keep going even when you're scared. If my message resonated with you today, I love to stay connected. Check out my blog at flourishingfiercely.com, where I share stories, lessons, and growth tools for women ready to lead, grow, and flourish. I want to leave you with a few questions to reflect on. What's one thing you've been waiting to start just because you had to get it perfect? And what would shift if you gave yourself permission to begin now as you are? Your voice, your story, your gifts, they're needed, not later, now. Because here's what I believe: every woman deserves to show up fully in her power on her terms. When we stop waiting for perfect, we open the door to possibility. And that's where true growth begins. Thank you. Abigail, you muted. You muted again.
And I'm just like got my phone ready to screenshot you because that was so wonderful. I wanted to share a screenshot with you of you speaking. Thank you so much, Jennifer, for sharing your story and also just talking about having courage in that way. I mean, what would the world look like if we weren't afraid of making those mistakes? And it was about like moving forward. What is your legacy and your mission for the world? Where would you like to see leadership and women's leadership moving forward? I'd really love to hear your thoughts around that.
My thing is like, I'm here on purpose for a purpose, right? And I want us all to recognize that and be able to walk fully in our purpose, and also support other individuals who may not know what that purpose is or may not know how to access resources to walk in their purpose, and really just be a light for others. You never know what someone is going through. Also, you never know if your story could resonate with someone else. And so, just being able to share my journey, what I've been through, and how I've grown as a woman, as a leader, as a parent, like all the things that I am.
Jennifer, thank you so much for being a shining light. It's really important to have women like you standing on stages like this, showing us what's possible. And I just wanted to really honor the work that you do. And we're so happy that you are going to be speaking on our stage next year in March and on these showcases and magazine and everything that comes with it. Jennifer, where can people find you? I know that you shared there some details. Where do you hang out on social media? Where can people follow you?
I don't really hang out because I don't post like I should, but I am on LinkedIn.
We're going to change that.
I am on LinkedIn, Jennifer D. McLean. I am also on Facebook, and for the Pinterest women out there, I do have a page on Pinterest, Mission Inspire, and that's my website as well, and that's Inspire with an E.
Wonderful. Inspire with an E. Jennifer, thank you for coming on today and sharing your wisdom. And the best is yet to come. We're really excited to have you on the stage.
I'm excited to join, and thank you so much.
You're welcome. Thank you, Jennifer. Okay, who's inspired? Who's inspired by our speakers today? That was Jennifer, who is going to be speaking on our stage on the 2026 Women Thrive Summit. Can you believe it's going to be 2026 next year? And we really hope that you are going to be coming and joining us every single month on the showcase. We go live the third week of every Thursday of every month. Sorry, the third Thursday of every month. There's going to be a wonderful showcase just like this, where you will be able to meet our speakers and get to know them and start to interact with them and start to really take on their knowledge and be inspired by them. We have so many wonderful women to share with you on our summit coming up, and of course some more amazing women on our showcase today. So we are going to be moving away now from the USA, and we're going to be coming over to my neck of the woods over here in the UK. I would love to invite our next speaker onto the stage. Her name is Annette Williams. She is a cognitive behavioral hypnotherapist who specializes in helping professional women get the credit they deserve by unblocking their confidence to stand up and speak out. You see the theme that's going on today? Speak out. Annette's unique approach blends creative TV industry experience with bespoke therapeutic techniques, including hypnosis to address issues like performance anxiety, public speaking fears, social anxiety, and phobias. Annette, welcome to the stage.
Thank you very much. I'm delighted to be here. What a wonderful event so far.
Well, we're very excited to hear you talk, especially about, these fears that very often we need to overcome when we are putting ourselves out there and speaking on stages and being visible. So I'm really excited to hear you speak today. Annette, over to you.
Thank you very much. And hello, everyone. Well, I'm delighted to be here and feel so inspired by all of the previous speakers. And I'm really honoured that I've been invited to speak at the 2026 Summit, because it's the first time I will have spoken on that stage, and certainly the first time I will have spoken to such a huge global audience. So I really appreciate the opportunity. Thank you. Now, I'm just wondering, how many of you have ever seen the film Yes Man? It came out in 2008, and it was based on a book by Danny Wallace, and it stars Jim Carrey as the lead role. Now, I'm not promoting you that you go and watch this film, but if you haven't seen it, then the premise is that Carl, who's the lead character, is struggling with some self-esteem issues. So he decides to embark on a self-help journey by simply saying yes to every opportunity that presents itself for a whole 12 months. So as I said, don't rush out and see the film, because to be honest, the reviews are a bit mixed. But I mention it because lately I've been feeling like I've become the yes woman. Because ever since Ray and Abigail invited me to join the summit, I've been saying yes to everything. Annette, would you like to present on the first speaker showcase? Yes, I would. Thank you. Would you like me to write an article for Women Thrive magazine? Of course. You keep saying yes to everything because opportunities like this don't come along very often. And when they do, you need to grab hold of them and make the most of every moment, especially when you're surrounded by so many inspiring women, many of whom we've already heard speak this evening. Because the summit is all about learning to grow, to stretch yourself, to learn and be inspired by others. And trust me, I'm all in for the whole experience. Now, I'm just going to pause and caveat everything I've just said and everything I'm about to say with, of course, there are times when you need to say no. And remember, no is a complete sentence, but perhaps that's a topic for another talk. Because the reason I'm so interested in my experience of going through this experience on the summit is because it mirrors some of the process I guide my clients through. Because as Abigail said, I'm a cognitive behavioral hypnotherapist, and I'm based in Cheshire in the UK. And my practice is called Silverbrook Hypnotherapy. And my passion and my speciality is to help professional women find the courage, unblock their confidence, stand up, speak out, and get the credit we all deserve. And it's so rewarding to see that transformation when they realize they can achieve their goals and overcome those fears and self-doubts that have been holding them back for so long. Because to watch someone reframe their mindset, boost their self-belief, and finally realize, I can apply for that job, or I can get on that plane and go on holiday with my family, or even I can live a life without fear of being judged. These and many more transformations all have one thing in common. They start by saying yes. Or as Dr. R.G. Nell Nichols would say, do the dang thing. And in my work, I use a range of different therapeutic techniques, but as Abigail mentioned, again, I draw on experience from my previous career, because for 38 years, I was a BBC TV producer. So this gave me a front row seat to observe confidence up close. And let me assure you, confidence is not a skill it's not something you're born with. It's a skill you can learn. And when you learn and perfect that skill, the whole world opens up to you. Now, I'll be honest, because we're amongst friends, I've got a bit of a knot in my stomach. I hope you can't tell. I've got sweaty palms and my heart is beating out of my chest. But that's what it is. You're putting yourself out of your comfort zone. And I haven't decided yet what I'm going to be talking about at the summit, because I want to use the time between now and then to listen, to learn, and to properly consider how I can best help this amazing audience. But right now, as I said, sweaty palms, beating heart, knot in my stomach. Is it nerves or is it excitement? Well, interestingly, the physical sensations are the same for both. So it's up to us to decide how to label them. So I'm choosing excitement. And it's a bit like that feeling you get before you go on a roller coaster. You've said yes. You've bought your ticket. You're securely strapped in with 49 other amazing women behind you on the ride. And the train starts moving up that first incline. Click, click, click. You're holding on tight. Your knuckles are going white. Adrenaline is flooding through your body. Click, click, click. You're committed now. There's no going back. Click, click, click. And suddenly you're at the summit. Gravity and momentum takes over and you're off on one of the most exhilarating rides of your life. So I encourage you all to find your confidence. And like Carl in the movie, played by Jim Carrey, say yes. Say yes to the Women Thrive Summit. And wherever your journey takes you, hold on tight. Believe in yourself and always enjoy the ride. Thank you.
And thank you. Oh my goodness, I was just chuckling to myself all the way through. I know that movie. I've watched it. Yes, mixed reviews. But
I'm the yes woman now, so maybe there's a time for a sequel.
I'm so glad that you're saying yes to everything. I'm so glad that you said yes to being a speaker on the Women Thrive stage. It's so wonderful to have you in the community. You were talking there about confidence. I know it's one of the things that you really help to support your clients with, one of the many things. And you said that we're not born with confidence. What's the first step? What's the first step to being more confident? What do you think it takes to really have that confidence to go out there and do the thing, as well as saying yes?
Well, the biggest blocker is inside our own minds. It's the things that we say to ourselves. And if you've never been encouraged or allowed or given the permission or the space to believe in yourself, to try new things, we learn through experience. But if you never had that opportunity, or if that nagging voice at the back of your mind is saying, oh, this is going to be rubbish, you can't do this, then inevitably you start to believe that. But that mind, that voice, that's us. So you can change that voice, you can change that negative voice to a positive one. And when you realize that you can control that, that is often a time where you have a massive breakthrough and realize that certain things that you previously felt were beyond your reach are much more attainable, and you get the confidence. And then we learn gradually. You're not going to go straight from 0 to 100. It is a process, but with each successful outcome, your confidence grows and grows, and you'll get there.
Annette, I love that you are walking your talk and sharing in a vulnerable way that, you know, sometimes we just have to do it scared and say yes and do the things and alchemize those nerves into excitement and just take a stand and share their voice. So thank you so much for saying yes to being on the showcase today.
My pleasure.
And saying yes to being a speaker on the summit next year. And I'm very excited to be on this journey with you to help you uncover what that talk is going to be about. And I know it's going to be a goodie. How can people find you?
Well, I'm silverbrookhypnotherapy.co.uk is the website. I'm Silverbrook Hypnotherapy on LinkedIn and Instagram. And those are probably the best platforms to get in touch with me. But I'd love to connect with people. This is that was one of the real main motivations for me wanting to get involved with this, because of you're making connections on a global scale, which is incredible.
Yeah, we want to encourage everyone watching Annette and all of our speakers to connect with them, follow them on socials, reach out to them, you know, build those connections. It's so valuable for us as women. And we feel more confident, I think, when we've got that support as well. It naturally helps us to boost that confidence. So, Annette, thank you so much for sharing your wisdom on the stage today.
My pleasure. Thank you for having me.
Thank you. So that was Annette Williams' wonderful story and background, and you will get to know her a lot more during our time together. I just wanted to say thank you so much for everyone also that is continuing to watch us. We have a few more speakers to go. We really appreciate all of your support and your shares, and we really hope that you are enjoying our wonderful inspirational speakers. I want to introduce you to someone now who I felt such a connection with when I first met her, and she is a very inspirational woman with a very incredible story. And I think definitely running through the showcase today is the theme around that we can actually decide who we're going to be, what we're going to be, and this journey very often can have some real ups and downs, but actually what we can do is we can really focus on where we want to be and we will get there. And she is just a wonderful inspiration, and we're very proud to have her as a speaker on the stage. So I would love to introduce to the stage the wonderful Angel, and she is an angel, Angel Dash. She is a trauma-informed brand strategist, designer, and flame keeper for soul-led entrepreneurs ready to be fully seen. She is a disabled veteran and creative visionary, and she blends intuitive design, storytelling, and strategy to help healers and thought leaders build brands that heal, liberate, and lead. Angel, welcome to the stage.
Thank you so much, Abigail. I appreciate all of that you are doing and being here. This is an amazing opportunity to be able to share the stage with all these amazing women.
It's wonderful. I've seen you really cheering in our WhatsApp group, cheering and championing our speakers so far, and then you're taking the stage. It's so wonderful to see you, and please take it away.
Absolutely. Thank you so much. So what if your visibility isn't just about strategy, but about keeping the fire alive? Because that's what a flame keeper does. We're the ones who walked through the dark, not with a flashlight, but with our hands on the walls, feeling around, and even tied behind our backs. We made it out not just by breathing, but burning with something to share. We didn't just survive for survival's sake. We survived so others wouldn't have to feel alone in the dark. A flame keeper isn't the loudest in the room. They're the ones still standing when the embers are low, the one that holds space, holds truth, and holds fire. But for too long, we've been told to dim our light, to be more polished, less complex, more palatable. And so we shrink, we shapeshift, we silence our stories to just be accepted in rooms where we were never meant to survive. I'm a disabled veteran, a queer entrepreneur, and a trauma survivor. And for years, I built walls instead of building a brand, not because I lacked strategy, but because I carried shame about being too much, too loud, too complex. I walk with a cane, and for years, I tried to hide it, tried to move past it, minimize it. But one day I realized it wasn't just helping me walk, it was helping me stand in my truth. It was a symbol of survival, of visibility, of power, of choosing to be seen, even when it makes people uncomfortable. That's what flame keepers do. We carry the torch we once needed, and we light the way for others who are still walking through the dark. The healers, the visionaries, the spiritual entrepreneurs, the soul led entrepreneurs, the ones who've turned their pain into purpose. My mission is to help them, help you become seen, trusted, and unforgettable. Not because you followed the branding rules, but because you remembered who the hell you are. I believe branding is a ceremony. Visibility is healing. Every color, every word, every photo you share, it's not just content. It's a memory. It's a reclamation. It's a spell you're casting out to your future clients that says, I see you. You're not alone. Come home. When you treat branding like a sacred act, you stop performing and start remembering. And when we claim our voice, we don't just grow a business, we raise the entire vibration of the people we're here to serve. Because this work, it's spiritual, it's strategic, and it's sacred. And I'm here to keep that fire lit. But there's more to it than that. I know there are people in this very space right now who have walked through their own versions of that dark hallway, who've wondered if they were too much or not enough, who've hidden parts of themselves for safety and are now craving to be seen in full color. This is your sign. You don't have to shrink to serve. You don't have to dilute your magic to be taken seriously. Your truth is your strategy. Your story is your spotlight. And if you're still holding the fire quietly, I see you. Let me help you light the whole room. Hi, I'm Angel Dash, owner and flamekeeper of Angel Dash Branding Co. I'm a trauma-informed brand strategist and intuitive web designer helping soul-led leaders, healers on a mission to heal, become seen, trusted, and unforgettable through my bold method and sacred brand strategy.
Angel, there were so many things that I wrote down there in between taking photos of you, because you've been taking photos of everyone else. So yay for the cheerleaders. I love when you were talking about like being seen in full color, and you emanate that. Like you really lead the way with that. You know, Ramonda talks a lot about being unapologetic, and you are unapologetically you. And I love that you are standing up and standing out and really being an advocate for others being the same. And you were talking there about like visibility being really healing. And I love that concept, because very often the visibility is the thing that keeps us small, right? That we're like, we don't want to be seen and it's scary. Why do you have that point of view that visibility is healing? What's the experience of that?
Well, it started with two cataclysms that I experienced in 2021. In 2021, I had lost my best friend, and she had passed away to an autoimmune disease. And then later that year, I almost lost my mom to diabetes and sepsis. And because of those monumental moments in my life, that inspired me to realize that I am hiding behind what people think I am or what people think that I should do. And that's not who I am. I am a person who I am a leader. I am a flame keeper. I have no problem standing at the front lines. We all know this. And I'm here to help others because I can't get to the top without help from others. So if there's others below me, I'm going to pull them up along the way. And I think that that's really important.
Angel, I love what you advocate for. And we need people like you in this world to represent. And we are so proud that you are representing on our stage. So welcome to the Women Thrive community. Welcome to the Speaker Showcase. Welcome to the stage. We're so excited to get to know you more and support you on this journey, and for you in turn to really inspire our community and stand as a leader with your point of view and your values. So it's been so wonderful to hear you talk today. Where can people find you? Like the best place if someone's like, oh my goodness, I need to go and connect with Angel right now and find out more about her. Where's the best place for them to go?
Instagram is really great. I check that almost daily, and you can find me at Angel-Branding Co. And then you can search Flamekeeper Angel Dash on LinkedIn, and those are the two best places to find me.
Wonderful. Thank you, Angel. Thank you so much. We look forward to hearing more of your story and your journey. Thank you. Okay, so we are nearly at the end. We've got a little bit more to go, so please stay with us. I would love to introduce Ramonda Jan back onto the stage. Hey,
Thank you, Abby. So many amazing stories, and just I feel really excited and just activated. I think whoever has been listening throughout this showcase, there is no doubt that you're feeling inspired and probably motivated to do something as well to activate your voice to inspire others. Abigail, thank you. I'd love to introduce our next speaker onto a stage because I have been seeing her waiting in the wings to share her beautiful message with our audience today. But don't go anywhere. We've got two more speakers to go. So our lovely next speaker, Dawn Gates, is a transformational coach dedicated to helping women pivot towards their passion and purpose. She equips women with the mindset, tools, and courage they need to lead with purpose, power, and authenticity. Dawn, great to see you. Where are you joining us from today?
Hi, Ray. So good to be here, and thank you all so much for this opportunity. I'm from Maryland. I'm out of Maryland in the United States. So happy to be here and represent the States today.
Yes, of course. And of course, represent yourself and your story on the Women Thrive platform, which I'm really, really excited and thrilled to have you featured as a speaker in 2026 for our summit. Dawn, I'll take myself off and I'll be right back at the end to have a little chat with you. So over to you.
Thank you so much. So, like many of you, when I was 10, I had a plan for my life. I knew exactly what direction I wanted to go in and what I wanted to be, married with 3 kids, 2 girls and a boy, with a full medical degree and all these things, surprisingly by the age of 22. That was the initial plan. What I didn't plan for was for my family life to be upended through a series of tragic events, substance abuse, loss. And almost overnight, I had to shift my entire perspective. And ever since then, I've been shifting in my life. Hello, my name is Dawn Gates, and I am a pivot to passion coach, a retired Army veteran, and a diversity professional. Throughout my life, there have been even more obstacles and upsets and wrong turns that I've had to navigate. And what I used to do was simply turn to the next thing and just dedicate myself to that one thing until I got burnt out and until I realized it really wasn't feeding me or serving my purpose. I found out that I wasn't connected to the thing that I had turned to. I wasn't being fulfilled. I was simply filling the space and filling the time. Recently, I was given another opportunity to figure things out and shift into another lane as a diversity professional in the States. In the federal government, there have been some changes in the past year. So this scenario wasn't new. But what I did have the luxury of at this point was time to reflect and to think and to really go within and really think and seek out the things that really drove me, what brought me passion, what gave me joy, what gave me energy, and what filled me up. I took that time to decide what I wanted to do next in my life. See, in the military, pivoting is not a quick shift to the next thing. It's a series of events that takes place. And before you actually pivot, there is a preparatory command, a moment for you to prepare to do the pivot. I was in that preparatory space, and I really seriously took the time to go within and think through, what do I actually need? And then what do I actually want? And what is actually going to fulfill me, rather than turning to the things that I thought I needed to do because someone needed me to do it. I was actually, for the first time in my adult life, creating that space for myself, the preparatory command. And then I finally decided how to pivot to my passion. It was pivoting to my passion that led me to publish a book of poems in 21 days, something I never thought I would do. It was pivoting to my passion that led me to a new space where my meaningful work was valued, was accepted, was appreciated. It was pivoting to passion that gave me more time to be with my family, my loved ones, which is the priority for me in my life. And it was also pivoting to passion, which led me to join this speaker series with all these amazing women and hearing all these wonderful stories and inspirational, powerful messages from women, and to be a part of that. Pivoting to my passion is what led me to that. And so my hope and my goal is to coach women to grow through their transitions, and to be able to truly pivot to their passion, not just turn to the next thing that they think is going to fill that void, but to actually figure out first in that preparatory time, what do I need? What do I want? What is going to fill my cup? And what's going to give me that joy? Thank you for this opportunity. I'm really excited to be a part of this and to share my vision and my journey, which I'm always on a journey, with everyone and with women everywhere who are looking for that next step in their lives. Thank you.
Dawn, thank you so much for sharing this wisdom to our audience today. And I think a lot of people are actually perhaps afraid of pivoting, and that word feels like, oh my God, am I failing? Am I having to, change something that I thought was going to be this way? So there's a lot of fear around it. What would you say to women who might be feeling a bit uncomfortable around the whole point of pivoting in their lives?
A lot of women, they freeze in that moment, but because of fear. And I would say that the thing that you're probably afraid of is making the wrong decision, of moving in a space that you think is not going to work for you. But you're never going to know if you chose the right way at all, right? You just have to make that choice the best choice for you. So being afraid, understandable. But on the other side of that fear, the impossible, the unimaginable, the incredible is waiting for you. So just getting past that, once you push past it, and not to say that you have to give it up, but just moving through it and moving with it and understanding why it's there.
Yeah.
I think that'll help.
I'm a huge advocate of pivoting. And actually, just today, some of the women that we already met, they most recently pivoted from life careers to life purpose. And they happier they have ever been doing things for their future, for their purpose. And that makes me excited for the women who will get to connect with you, Dawn. And speaking of which, how do they find you?
You can find me at the Dawn B Gates on Instagram. That's the primary place that I live on social media. So find
Yeah.
me there.
Amazing. And of course, we'll get to not only hear from you for the rest of the year throughout different medias within our platform, but also to see you at the Women Thrive Summit in March. Are you excited?
I am so excited. I'm so thrilled. It's unbelievable.
Amazing. We'll get to transform many women's lives. So make sure if you have felt inspired by Dawn's message today, reach out, just have just a conversation. That's all it takes, maybe to start off a big dream that you have been feeling, maybe a little fear and a nudge to take a new direction. So go ahead and do that. Dawn, thank you so much for sharing your wisdom today.
Thank you so much for the opportunity. Thanks.
Appreciate it. Wow, so much wisdom. What are your big takeaways? I want to ask you this now because we've got one more speaker to go, and this is the right time to share some of your own reflections from today's event. And I've seen quite a few people sticking throughout this event. I just want to say thank you. Thank you for taking the time to be here and support our wonderful speakers. Our last speaker, but certainly not least, is here today, Debbie Lynn, who helps powerhouse women rise from disruption to domination. If burnout, loss, or life have blindsided you, you're not broken. And that's what she's here to remind you. And she says, you're just buried. And it's time to unearth your brilliance. She turns setbacks into strategy, plan into profit, and survival into soul-led business. And what a way to close the Women Thrive showcase today. Hi, Debbie. How are you?
I'm great. Thank you. I'm honored to be here.
Where are you joining us from?
Plano, Texas.
Amazing. Well, I've been to Texas just a year ago, and what a great place it is. Debbie, I'm excited to have you on our stage. I'll hand over the mic to you, but I'll be right back at the end to have a little conversation with you.
Great. Thank you so much. Well, imagine holding your baby one moment and planning his funeral the next. Now imagine showing up work 3 days later. You're still grieving and you're still in shock. And all of a sudden, you're being told you're no longer needed. Whoa. Now, that's not just some sad story. That's my story. My son's name was Robert, and he was 4 months old. He had just started smiling and recognizing my face and cooing. And in one instant, he was gone. So in 1 year, I lost my son and my job and nearly myself. At night, I'd lay and I'd stare up at the ceiling. And I would wonder, how do I keep going? I'm falling apart inside. Who am I now? What if everyone finds out I'm not okay? What if this is the end of me? Have you ever asked yourself questions like this? Or have you ever heard someone else say that? You're not weak. And honestly, you're not alone. And you're not broken. You've just buried things for survival. Because we're taught to keep pushing on, to power through. You got to keep going. And before Robert died, I was that strong woman. I was the one that held it together, the one that everyone else leaned on, the one that people said, hey, I need your help. But where was my help? All of a sudden, it's like my grief, I'm now disposable. You can throw me away. But what I learned is that when I went back to work, I tried to smile, I tried to perform because that's what we're taught. But inside, yes, I was falling apart. I had no idea who I was or how I was going to make it. And I'd lay at night, like I said, and I'd wonder who I am. But I'd also worry about the money because you see, I was still raising a daughter. And one night I looked in the mirror, and I mean, I just stared in the mirror, looking at myself, wondering, who am I? And then I heard this whisper, what if your pain is your purpose? What if your pain is your purpose? And for the first time in several days, a light bulb went off. I stopped trying to go back to who I was and trying to be that strong woman because you see, I was exhausted. I was tired of performing, and truthfully, I was never fully whole. And that's when I realized I needed to be the woman that God intended me to be, and that I could rebuild and create a foundation of everything that I've learned. And I don't know, maybe you're here today and you're smiling on the outside, but you're crumbling on the inside. Maybe you've faced burnout, betrayal, loss, or maybe you're just tired of pretending. You still lead, you show up, but you're not yourself and you're just barely holding on. Let me say this with all the love and power I have. The pain does not create who you are, but it can make you legendary. And that's why I created Business CPR to help women like you rebuild, not with the hustle of life and what everybody tells you you need to do, but with clarity. Number one, you can reignite your passion, light that fire again. Number two, reclaim your power, your energy, and your joy. Create those boundaries and bring it back. And number three, rebuild your profit, because when your heart heals, your business grows, period. If you say where you are, you will just keep pouring from an empty cup until it cracks. You'll build a business that, it looks good, but it feels heavy. You got a lot of weight on your shoulder. And you're silence your truth until your body screams for you. You've got to do something. Are you stuck? Disconnected? And worst of all, another year will pass and nothing will change. But now imagine you stop hiding and you start healing. You lead from peace, not pressure. Reclaim your voice, your energy and purpose. Let me help you rise.
Debbie, thank you so much for your powerful voice on our platform. When you started sharing your story, I really felt it. Having, that I'm pregnant, and it's just so devastating to even think about the things that you've gone through and other women go through and face in life. That makes us rethink our entire being, our entire direction. But I just want to take a moment to acknowledge your strength, your courage, and resilience to be able to, one, overcome something like that, and two, see something positive in it again and rebuild your life with big purpose and mission, and now to support others. Because just imagine how many other people may be feeling stuck right now, staring at the ceiling, wondering where, what's their next move is. And it's sometimes really hard to pick ourselves back up without somebody else's help.
Yes, definitely.
Debbie, how long have you been doing this kind of work?
Well, I recently pivoted. I was doing grief for about 15 years, working with parents who had lost children. And I recently pivoted to work more with entrepreneurs for business resilience, because as entrepreneurs, we wear so many hats. And, we deal a lot with emotion and disruption of life because we are juggling hats of, motherhood and our business and everything else. And sometimes we don't take time to reflect on ourselves and say, are we stuck? Are we going through burnout? Do we need some time to rest? So all of those things are so critical, especially for us as women.
Yeah, for sure. And just knowing that there is support out there. When I was going through some of my most difficult times in my life, I just didn't know there was help out there for someone. So I just really want to encourage you to keep speaking about your story, about your journey, and what you do, because maybe there are people who just don't know there is someone like you who exists, who are able to support them.
Yeah. And I'm looking forward to helping as many people as I can, because I really do believe the more that women come together, the more empowering it can be.
Yeah. Debbie, what is the best place to connect with you?
I'm on Facebook and LinkedIn, and I do have friendsingrief.com.
Amazing. Thank you so much for being here. I can't wait to have you on our stage in March.
I know, I'm so excited. I'm really thankful and blessed for the opportunity, and I look so forward to meeting all of the other brilliant women. I got to hear all of the women this afternoon, and so you have some amazing women, and I can't wait to hear more.
You're all powerhouses. There's no way somebody's life could not get transformed at the end of the summit, even at the end of the year, if they end up listening and joining some of these showcases and connecting with all of you ladies. So thank you for making this community as wonderful as it is.
Well, thank you, Ray, for making it and giving us this opportunity to share our stories and to be the powerful women that we can be.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Dawn. I look forward to seeing you again very soon. Sorry, Debbie.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. I'm going to invite back my lovely co-host Abigail to stage. Just to close us out, what has been an incredible event? Thank you so much for being here, Abby.
I can't believe this is the first event. It feels like the caliber of the women is incredible, and every year we just attract the most amazing women to our stage. But I can't believe that this has been the first time. So inspirational, real clear themes about standing up for what you believe in, taking those leaps of faith, and there's a real sisterhood that's starting to take shape already, and I can't wait to not only see the future talks and interviews and magazine articles that all of these women are going to be creating, but also what they're going to be creating together, because that's what's so exciting about this, right? Everyone coming together and collaborating. You can start to see the threads already, like everyone connecting, and the commonalities between all of our speakers. So I've had a lovely time this evening.
Me too. It's nice to kind of switch my hat from a mother hat or, house chef to being a businesswoman and a host of this event.
I'm chef next.
Well, I'm sure you're going to enjoy and be great at cooking. Look, we've built this platform for all of you, and that includes all of our listeners who participate. And I always say, I didn't build this platform for myself. It is for you. It's for our communities, for our speakers. And this is a wonderful place to come together and build and collaborate and work on something together. So if you feel inspired by any of the women who shared anything with you today, connect with them, be part of the community. First Thursday of the month, we have a networking event, which It's free. Participate. Last month was really, really great event. And I know people who are already getting clients and collaborations and lots of amazing insight from these networking events. These showcases will be running for the rest of the year up until February, third Thursday of the month. So also tune in. And if you haven't already, just want to remind you that Women Thrive magazine gets published every first Friday of the month, and you get to subscribe to a wonderful print publication. Listen and read lots of amazing women's stories. You can contribute your own article into our magazine, so keep an eye out for announcements and our monthly themes. This year, we're really going all out with distributing a magazine all around the world. So very, very soon, you're going to start seeing our magazine in luxury hotels, spas, airport lounges. And if you are a traveler, you probably can already find a magazine on our digital subscription platforms. So if you belong to any digital subscription platforms, you're probably able to access Women Thrive magazine. And of course, you can get over to womenthrivemagazine.com and read our publication in digital format. Thanks to all of our amazing speakers who were here today to share their message. Congratulations on being the first ones on this showcase and making it incredible. Thank you to my co-host, Abigail, for holding the front, especially as I had to multitask a few times. I really appreciate you, Abigail.
I appreciate you as well. Thank you for being a wonderful co-host as normal and making it so much fun. Appreciate you as well, Ray.
Yeah, well, go enjoy your dinner. And to all of you, thank you for being here, for participation and making sure that you share this with your own audience or tag someone who might need to hear this. Thank you all so much. And thanks to our production team behind the scenes who make all of this possible. Congratulations for the first event. And we'll see you again very soon. Take care for now.